সরেকে সব সরেকে আমি হেবু দিনে তুম পরেকে সব সরেকে সব সরেকে।
There were about more than 4,000 organizations working on disability in India and over 1,000 organizations working on HIV. The main issue here with disabled people and HIV people is about discrimination and marginalization.
There are issues of exclusion related to these two communities, and primarily which focus on their access to basic services like education, health, livelihood, and even the basic dignity to live in society. And the stigma associated with people living with HIV/AIDS is much higher than that of disabled people.
They've been stigmatized in the family, they've been stigmatized in the community, and also they have a lot of stigma in the hospital setting.
You get into education, you get into health, you get into livelihood, you really cannot see the participation of disabled people, the kind of opportunity which they should be given, that has been given. We cannot say that at this point of time, even though things have started moving in a positive manner, but there is a lot of things to be done in that direction.
मानव अधिकार है कि विकलांग भी एक फिल्म देखने जा सकता है, एक विवाह में शामिल हो सकता है, लेकिन लोग की समझ यह है कि विकलांग है मतलब वो कुछ नहीं कर सकता, उसको कोई खुशी नहीं है।
ऐसे गांव हैं जहाँ पर ऐसे बच्चों को बिल्कुल घृणा की दृष्टि से वो पैदा हो गए हैं, तो माँ बाप भी केयर नहीं करते, फैमिली भी केयर नहीं करती, समाज भी केयर नहीं करता और गवर्नमेंट भी केयर नहीं कर रहा है।
People with blindness and disability are seen as lesser beings. People straight away, moment somebody realizes that a person is blind, immediately there are judgments made and the person is packaged into a lesser being, and therefore he's a person who needs help, he's a person who needs support, he's a person who cannot probably do things for himself, he is dependent. That's the kind of traditional image that exists.
Clear lack of understanding of issues that pertain to deaf people is what surprises me. Meeting educated people who are able to understand, able to comprehend, and able to see situations as they should be, and yet to realize that these people are unable to realize that deaf people do not need rehabilitation, they just need education in a proper language.
Every person who is part of our country has a right and a space in our society, and we also believe that the blindness is not the real problem. The real problem is the mindset.
In response to issues involving these highly vulnerable groups, VSO India, with financial assistance from the European Union, initiated a project in 6 states of India: Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, Orissa, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Delhi. The core objective was to address issues of exclusion of people living with disability and also with HIV and AIDS from mainstream development and decision making.
When we started writing up a strategy about 5 years back, we had a lot of experience of working on disability issues, and we wanted to build on that experience in our new strategies, and we realized a twin track approach in addressing these two issues would be the best way to go forward. So what we were telling that whatever issue that anybody is addressing, whatever work they are doing, disability and HIV could be addressed as a cross-cutting issue, as a mainstreaming issue within their programs.
Here we've looked at a model where there is inclusion at both the organization level and examples at the program and community level.
VSO आज हमारे क्षेत्र में छत्तीसगढ़ में 10 जिलों पर सपोर्ट कर रही है और 10 जिलों पर VSO का ये है काम है, विकलांगता में जो सोच बनी हुई है कि हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते और जो समाज में सोच है कि विकलांग कुछ नहीं कर सकता, इसको आगे बढ़ाने की बात करते हैं। और हमारे जो विकलांग साथी हैं अपने मंच, छत्तीसगढ़ विकलांग मंच, हर जिले में हर महीने मीटिंग होता है, हर ब्लॉकों में मीटिंग होता है और हमारे हर 3 महीने में क्वार्टरली मीटिंग होता है, जो त्रैमासिक बैठक होता है, जिसमें जिला लेवल के सभी 20 लीडर पहुँचते हैं। ये 20 लीडर हमारे नेटवर्किंग की तरह काम करता है और ब्लॉकों में पहुँच बनाया हुआ है। हमारा मेन विकलांग मंच का मेन कार्य है विकलांगों को अधिकार दिलाना, विकलांगों को जो सोच है ऊपर लाना और हमारे समाज की जो सोच है उनको बदलना।
दूसरी बात ये है कि अगर हम मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट कंसेशन भी बनाते हैं तो उसमें गवर्नमेंट 10 साल के लिए ही मतलब नियुक्त करती है, ये 5 साल के लिए आप फिर से बनाइए, गवर्नमेंट का रूल है, क्योंकि वो पैदाशी विकलांग है लेकिन वो परमानेंट उसकी मांग वो मेडिकल सर्टिफिकेट चाहे कंसेशन वो परमानेंट नहीं कर सकते।
अगर आप 24 साल के ऊपर बनवाते हैं तो वो 3 साल बाद रिजेक्ट हो जाएगा। सर्टिफिकेट का गलत उपयोग ना करे, वो जीवित है कि नहीं वो इंसान, इसलिए उसको चेकअप किया जाता है और 35 साल के बाद वो परमानेंट बन जाता है।
रोजगार की लड़ाई नहीं बोलना, हमको लड़ना है ना।
शासन जो अधिकार दिया है उससे हम वह हमें नहीं मिल पाती है, जो कि आज हमें VSO की सपोर्ट से आज हम लोग लड़ करके और ले रहे हैं।
संगठन बनाने का ये उद्देश्य रहा है कि सब संगठित होकर अपने अधिकारों को जानें और अपने अधिकारों को जानकर मतलब कि अपने जो हक है वो अधिकार हैं उनको लें गवर्नमेंट से।
छत्तीसगढ़ विकलांग मंच है, एक विकलांगों के अंदर में एक उत्साह, एक जुनून, एक हौसला पैदा करता है और आने वाले दिनों में सबको साथ में लेके चलता है और उनको एक समान अधिकार और अपनी अहमियत और अपनी ज़रूरत सबके सामने लाना चाहते हैं।
जो लोग हमारे बारे में सोचते थे कि ये लोग कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हम आज उनको ये सक्षम होकर दिखा रहे हैं कि हम चाहे कितने भी हमारी परिस्थिति खराब हो लेकिन हम खड़े हो सकते हैं और अपने लिए काम कर सकते हैं।
आमे काहारी को बोझा निज गोड़े ठिया हेबो के सबु सरे के सबु सरे के सबुरी अंतरे स्नेह भरी थिले काहू हेबो काको भरे के सबु सरे के सबु सरे के। 2007 जुलाई मसीह आधार अभ्यासर सपोर्ट जिला विकलांग मंच बलांगीर गठन कराला आठे मत से सामिल करागला। तापरे आधार आमर ये जो CS प्रोजेक्ट प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट है आ सेठे मुई शिक्षक भाव काम कर जेन माने कि गाँव अंचल पढ़ी रही छोट छोट पिला माने से पढ़ावार लगी।
आधार में गोटे वॉलंटरी डेवलपमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हिसाब से विभिन्न मैस्ट्रीमिंग प्रोग्राम सब करूँ। तार भर देखिली कि सबुठ बेसी एक्सक्लूडेड होती डिजेबल मैंने सब पंचायत राज सिस्टम रे विभिन्न जो स्कीम्स प्रोग्राम आस ग्राम सभा पुलिस सभा माध्यम से पार्टिसिपेशन रोनी जहाँद्वारा देखिलु से सबुठ मोर vulnerable बलांगीर दारिद्रता परिप्रेक्षी। तापर आम चिंता कलु कि नहीं केमती गोटे स्वतंत्र आम कार्यक्रम आरंभ करवा आठ देखिलु जो भयस आसवा कथा भयस आसुनी। बलांगीर HIV गोटे बहुत बड़ समस्या जो डिस्ट्रेस माइग्रेशन होची से HIV vulnerability आस्ते आस्ते बढ़ी बढ़ी चलती। B कैटेगरी को आसाला से VSO भी गोटे सहयोग हाथ बढ़ाई आर जो रहे सपोर्टर मध्यमटा जो गोटे वॉलंटियर से प्रोवाइड करेंगे। बड़ काम था कि जो वॉलंटियर बलांगीर गोटे डिजेबिलिटी लोक रिसर्च कराई सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एंड पॉलिटिकल स्टेटस ऑफ PWD से रिसर्चटा बहुत बड़ काम को आसला। ताको नेकी आमे विभिन्न लेवल शेयर करथिलु एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन पाखे से कमिट कर जहाँ भी तार आसी फाइंडिंग्स रिपोर्ट रे जहाँ सजेशन रिकमेंडेशन आसी एक्शन नेवा स्टार्ट कर गोटे बड़ एडभोकेसी आम थिला कि जे विकलांग राइट्स कथा कहूँ किंतु फास्ट तार आइडेंटिटीटा जमी आम गाँव में भले डेवलपमेंट कमिटी फॉर्मेशन कर डिजेबल मैंने आसिक लीडरशिप नहीं पारि
ग्रुप गठन न कइथिलु पंगु आकार रे रहि जइतिलु ग्रुप गठन कला परे हमें निजे निजके आशा रखी करी बड़ बड़ एही जिला विकलांग मंच रे मध्य अधिकार करी करी हमें सेतु सभ्य भाव रे ग्रहण कइछु हम बलांगीर जिला विकलांग मंच के भी आमे जे करी से न सहायता करा करे अगरु जेंदा थिलो यहाँ के अवस्था रे बहुत आगे गला बगिरा हमर इच्छाटा होछि
हमर जो कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन रे भी सपोर्ट पर हमको दुईटा फंडिंग एजेंसी सपोर्ट कले जमी सीवीआर फोरम हमको स्पेशली कम्युनिटी बेस्ड रिहाबिलिटेशन पे गोटे ब्लॉग रे काम कर टिटलागढ़ ब्लॉग रे तापर साइड सेवर इंटरनेशनल हमको से कम्युनिटी बेस्ड रिहाबिलिटेशन पे सपोर्ट देइछंती जेटा इनक्लूसिव एजुकेशन गोटे पार्ट
देखागला जे लोसिंगा ब्लॉक रे टोटाल ब्लाइंड आउ लो विजन छुआ के अच्छा सिवियर लो विजन से आम आइडेंटिफाई करी तांकर घर के जाइए पेरेंट्स को पहला मोटिवेट कराला पहला तो से तार घर परिवेश रे से किसी नहीं जानते घर परिवेश रे सब सिखावा के पड़ला तार मोबिलिटी ऊपर ध्यान दियाला आउ ताके स्कूल आसबार लगी कहगला टीचर आज्ञा मान कहते से देखी नहीं पारे केंती पाठ पढ़वा केंती ये करवा से सब कहते किंतु तांको आम बहुत प्रकार मोटिवेट करूँ जे ना यहाँ इनक्लूसिव एजुकेशन है से माने से अनुसार से भिन्नक्षम छुआ मैंने भी पढ़ी पारे और स्कूल एडमिशन कलापर से एवं तार सांग साथी मान समस्त मैंने भल मिसी पारे आसिक निजे निजे सांग मान संगे पढ़ी पारे
रोशनी का कारवां
We set up SCORE Foundation in 2002 and we launched a project called iWay. Now iWay is a single stop knowledge resource for people living with blindness, and our work involves addressing the mindsets that exist, telling people, sharing information, sharing knowledge that informs, inspires and empowers. Now to do all this, SCORE Foundation through iWay have set up various channels of communication. Number one, we started off with iway.org, which is a website. And this website has information about everything to do with living life with blindness is up there. The second program which we launched is called iWay Ye Hai Roshni Ka Karwan, which is a radio program which is broadcast every week on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. through 42 stations of All India Radio. Now the radio program generates phone calls, and therefore we have started a help desk which actually takes calls, and we receive about 25-30 calls every week, new calls every week. And these calls are generally to do with people asking education related questions, employment related questions, discrimination related questions, parenting related questions, life related questions.
Where are you calling from, Nima? There was a girl from Pune. She has got an admission in Symbiosis Institute in MBA. But the problem is she is recently blind and she doesn't know, she is not very good at mobility.
So she called us, okay, now how can I move independently? How can I know? How can I go outside since I have to now join the hostel and all that? So we found we contacted people and found out okay where she can learn the mobility and all that. So then I replied her, right? Please contact so and so, address so and so. Excuse me, please.
Yeah, please take it.
नवनीत जी, हाँ जी बताइए, @gmail.com.
The partnership with VSO essentially is to bring in expertise in specific areas. The first volunteer who came in with the expertise of communications, and she was a communication advisor, and she actually helped us develop and worked with us in building the radio program. We then had Thomas Woolston who worked with us. He brought in his expertise of management and organizational development. Tom's contribution was significant, and now from where Tom left off, John is working on actually making sure that we have systems that work, policies that are being implemented.
One of the things that is very important is that people with any kind of disability are regarded as normal people with exactly the same opportunities and possibilities that others have. And this office, Core Foundation, itself is a good example, because half of the people who work here are visually impaired themselves. One is totally blind and others have different degrees of low vision to very low vision. And it is something you don't even think about. When you're working here, everybody is a colleague like anybody else. Whether they seeing me or not is not important. And that is something that should be realized all over India.
There's a famous trainer who once said, Stephen Covey, you can't change the world, but you can definitely change yourself. So I think one of the things that we try to do through IWAY is to actually get the blind person to start thinking beyond themselves in their blindness, so that in the process of developing themselves and contributing to the world, they come into the mainstream. So that is rather philosophical at the moment, but I think that is the way to go.
आज रोशनी का कारवां में हम कई लोगों के विचार और अनुभव आप तक पहुंचाएंगे। हमारे और आपके दोस्त जॉर्ज इब्राहिम इनसे बातचीत कर रहे हैं।
जिंदगी कैसी है पहेली हाय, कभी तो हंसाए कभी ये रुलाए।
What did you tell him?
We were talking about he teaches computers now, and he was saying that he's teaching PowerPoint today, and he's got 20 students.
The primary need we saw was education in terms of marketable skills. So we focused on young people who have already been through school to a certain extent and who needed basically technical skills, marketable skills, that they could actually go out and get a job in the market and sustain themselves and their families and lead a productive life. So for this we set up first of all computer classes. I taught the first few, and then we recruited our best senior students to become teachers of the next batches, and that's been going on for the past so many years now. In India, sign language is a critical element that has been neglected for many years. This was a very major area of work that we had to do.
I've been working with deaf people in the UK for a number of years. My parents are deaf, and my skill set matched the skills of the placement that they wanted here. I'm training sign language interpreters and helping to set up the Association of Sign Language Interpreters here for the Organisation for Deaf Way. Some of these skills are here in the country, but what we have in the UK is much further advanced. So the idea about volunteers coming in and working alongside people is sustainable development. What we do is basically work alongside the organisation so that when we leave, we are leaving those skills behind.
One critical element that we have actually achieved with VSO partnership is a serious escalation of our HIV outreach program. We have got a video developed to teach young deaf people in sign language about risk and dangerous behavior. We have got again a booklet developed, which is a non-verbal booklet which has no words in it. It is for use with non-verbal, non-literate people who will understand through pictorial illustrations risk behavior and safe behavior. So these are the two very major projects that are going to be rolling out across India.
He's working as a webmaster. He learned this web designing through one of the volunteer who's provided by the VSO. His name is Malo. He made this website, the Deaf Foundation website. And this is another one, NAD, National Association of the Deaf. And this is ASLI website, Association of Sign Language Interpreters. This site is very useful for the hearing and non-hearing both to learn Indian Sign Language.
गोटिए डोरी रे बांधी रखी छुए मन आमे गड़ी बुरे नुआ जीवन आमे गड़ी बुरे नुआ जीवन आमे बंचिबु निज निज दुनिया रे आमे संचिबु आम पाई गरबरे आमे बंचिबु निज निज दुनिया रे आमे संचिबु आम पाई गरबरे मिलीमिशी आमे देखुथिबु आमे देखुथिबु देश पाई नुआ सपना देश पाई नुआ सपना.
INA as an organization have been promoting and have been advocating the rights of disabled people from the very beginning, and we are visioning to see a society which is barrier free, where a person with disability can live with dignity, with grace.
Mama, Papa, Ma, Ma, Pa.
Didi out. Out.
এটা লা 2 টাকা
2 টাকা
এটা
1 টাকা
টাকাটা এটা
8 টাকা
50 পয়সা 50 পয়সা আর ভিতরে ମୁଁ ତମକୁ କହିବି 2 ଟଙ୍କା କାଇଁ ସେଇଟା ନୁହଁ ଭଲି ଭଲି କରିକି 2 ଟଙ୍କା ଉଠେଛି ଏଇଟା କେତେ ଟଙ୍କା
3 ଟଙ୍କା
ଏଇଟା 3 ଟଙ୍କା 2 ଟଙ୍କା 2 ଟଙ୍କା ଉଠେଛି
ଏଇଟା
very good.
Parents of the non-disabled children are always very protective. They always think that if a disabled child is coming to the school, probably their children are going to become like that. So to know about disability, there's a lot of myth that is going around. So that myth needs to be dispelled, and our effort is always making that. Within the school, what we have seen is the problem with the teachers. The teachers always come up with a complaint, well, now I have a child with cerebral palsy, but I really do not know how to communicate with that child. So we started actually doing a very individualized educational planning and then sitting with the teachers. We work in the community, in a community-based rehabilitation approach, and there is a very less specialized approach, let's say, from the organization point of view. And there actually comes a partnership with VSO. In terms of getting volunteers who can help us in like the therapists, let's say, who have been there with us, or even the training coordinators, those have been placed with us to design a training for the parents, to design a training for the teachers, for the children, or even other stakeholders like the ICDS workers, like the health workers. So they are very focused and very much concentrating in their effort. The distraction part is very less, and probably that is another reason why we are getting the result from the VSO volunteers.
डाकिब कि सते हाथ ठारी मोते डाकिब कि सते रथ जातराकू ए दुखी को पुरी को मो चिठी लेखिची मो नीलमणि को.
When you talk about equal opportunities, I talk about accessibility. Because if you can't access an area, if you can't use a facility, if you can't get the information about that facility, that place is not accessible. That means you are not given the equal opportunity.
Again, accessibility के लिए अभी तक कोई compliance नहीं देखी गई है. The municipal commissioners themselves don't do it. The municipal officers don't do it. And you know, our engineers, our designers know about it. पर वो करते नहीं है क्योंकि उनको ये नहीं पता होता कि disabled लोग use करेंगे. They think that the disabled people sit at home. If all of us are sitting together in this hall today, is because this place has some accessible features.
These warning blocks, yellow-colored tiles with frictions, warn a visually impaired person that there is a block ahead, such as the gate. The ramp makes it easy for a person with disability to move without any hurdle, while the sidebars along sides lend support if need be. These call bells are specially designed as when the switch is pressed, the flickering lights make it possible for a hearing impaired person to know that there is someone at the door. Here comes Pintu, the office assistant, who is hearing and speech impaired. Not only is the toilet sign marked in Braille script, the toilet inside also has been modified to be disabled friendly. The foldable hand bar on one side and the fixed handrail on the other provide additional support to a physically disabled person while using the facility. The backrest provides special cushion for comfort. There are alarm bells to be used in case a disabled person seeks help. Alarm bells are also provided at floor level so that if someone falls down and needs help, they can easily reach out to them. Should that be the case, help is immediately provided through the door on the other side, which is always kept unlocked from inside. The taps with long handles help a person who cannot turn the knobs and would like to use the elbows instead. The wash basin is also placed at a height that is comfortable for a wheelchair user.
Access is a costly proposition and requires a lot of funds. My God, I have to make a toilet, 1 lakh rupees. Ramp, 50,000 rupees. Signages in Braille, 40,000 rupees. I can't make my building accessible. But this is wrong. The fact is that we need to understand that if you do an access audit of a building and do refurbishment of an old building, the cost could be only 2 to 4% of the total project cost.
As you look at our organizational vision, we talk about reaching out to the most vulnerable community. But within this community also there are much more excluded community which was not in our focus. For example, a disabled woman who is excluded from the self-help groups. But as along with the sensitization that we started having ourselves, then we found that we are not meeting in our vision what we have stated, that reaching out to the most vulnerable. And then we realized that this is, if we want to be really inclusive, then we need to have a kind of a inclusion policy within the organization, and that BSO came in forward to help us, that how we should develop an inclusion policy.
नीड्स के इंक्लूजन, डिसेबिलिटी इंक्लूजन को लेकर के जो हमारा एक मैनुअल में पार्ट है, उसके हिसाब से 3% रिजर्वेशन डिसेबिलिटी के लिए भी है. उसी के अंदर में मेरा भी यहाँ पे अपॉइंटमेंट हुआ था. जब मैं ऑफिस में आया, यहाँ पे ज्वाइनिंग किया था मैंने, तो मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज था कंप्यूटर में काम करना. ऑफिस में हमारे पूरे एक्सेसिबिलिटी का ध्यान रखा जाता है, खास करके नॉट ओनली एज अ विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड मेरे लिए ही नहीं, साथ ही साथ जितने भी व्हीलचेयर यूज़र्स अगर आते हैं तो रिसेंटली लास्ट ईयर मैंने VSO का एक प्रोग्राम एक्सेसिबिलिटी के ऊपर में ट्रेनिंग लिया था। नीड्स में अगर सही कहा जाए तो ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है कि ऐसा कोई स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट मेरे साथ या फिर किसी और भी डिसेबल पर्सन के साथ किसी भी तरीके का कोई स्पेशल ट्रीटमेंट नहीं होता है। सबसे बड़ी बात वही है।
Within our health sector program, we are mostly focused on reproductive and child health programs, safe motherhood programs. And over a period of years, we realized that the maternal and health components need to be addressed in the broader context of HIV also.
Whatever we do, whether it's irrigation or whether it's a water set, we make sure that community has an education on HIV/AIDS and we educate them on vulnerability issues.
We are a national level network working for people living with HIV/AIDS, and we have been working in nearly 24 state level network and more than 250 districts. So we work actually with three core areas. One is network building, service delivery, and advocacy. And right from the beginning, we have been advocating for the HIV/AIDS bill. We started doing some little bit of capacity building, which VSO has been very helpful for us. And slowly we understood the need for a VSO volunteer to be placed here, because we need some expertise in various fields like M&E, HR, communication.
INP Plus, the idea is to be more of technical support to the state levels and the district level networks who do more of kind of the outreach and work with the community more, because I guess the idea is to move away from doing all the direct advocacy work and kind of being more technical support.
As monitoring and evaluation advisor, I'm helping them with their computerized management information system, where they already have developed their CMIS, we call it, but I'm helping them analyze the information that they are gathering.
Even though they are not, VSO volunteers haven't worked directly with the district level networks, but the technical support given to INP Plus has reached the grassroots through the district level network.
These volunteers went out to the state level networks and they studied in depth about what is their organizational need, like doing a training needs assessment of the state level networks and how it would help the organization as a national level network to grow more wider and to reach more PLHIV in future.
Within the HIV area, what VSO is trying to do is strengthen the movement of networks of people living with HIV. So we have a lot of partner organizations, like we are partnering with INP Plus, PWN Plus, and many of the state level networks of INP.
State level network and district level network at various level try to work closely with the PLHIVs, provide them counseling, refer them to various care and support centers, and refer them to other service centers for further care.
ଆମେ ହେବୁ ଦିନେ ତୁମ ପରେ କେ ସବୁ ସରେ କେ।
VSO as a volunteering organization, we need to salute our volunteers, right from international volunteers to local volunteers to national volunteers to community volunteers to the young people. In our new strategy, where we are trying to engage with bigger masses of people, we are trying to engage with the growing middle class, we are trying to engage with the government, where we want to ensure that the learnings that we have in the last 4 years of working with HIV positive people and with disabled people are included in a new plan. End of the day, I think we are all responsible, and this is the best way forward.
No hoibu ame kahari ko boja, no hoibu ame kahari ko boja, nijo gore ঠিয়া হেবো কে সবু সরে কে সবু সরে কে।